Hi, I'm Eleanor with the latest misdeeds in the big soaps. The lure of illicit lust, Tanya and Max prove that nothing's more attractive than what you can't have. Except they've been having plenty of it, so much that Tanya wonders to Max if she's pregnant, even though she's been on the pill. Tanya feigns disappointment in front of Greg when her test is negative, but later Rainey spots Greg furtively closing his laptop. On closer inspection, she learns he's been looking up IVF, which horrifies Tanya, who responds by having another liaison with Max. A drunk Lauren learns their secret and threatens to blab to Greg, but when Max takes her home, she knocks over Tanya's bag and Greg spots the pills. Rich bitch Janine can't resist rubbing noses in it, and she circles the square in a Rolls Royce, then raffles tickets to Vegas to tempt the locals to her party. She attempts to give Ricky cash, but he rips it up in disgust. Then Norman arrives to say he's contesting the will. Ricky decides he is going to Dubai, but Pat says she'll convince Norman to drop his claim if Janine sorts out Ricky. But she wants Pat to beg for the money, which Ricky overhears, and he decides to leave for Dubai that day. Next, we're in Weatherfield. There's more trouble gestating for Leanne and Peter when the middle-aged bloke decides he isn't keen on another child. Peter confides his anxiety to Carla, who's always ready for a hug, and this time a kiss. But Peter pulls away and Carla says she'll wait for him. When Ken prods his son about his rift with Leanne, he guesses another woman is involved. Well, he would know, and warns him to make the right choice. So Peter heads off to break his decision to Carla and Leanne. But what it is, you'll have to wait and see next Thursday. Ken's also having trouble with grandson James, who's looking slightly vulnerable when the police find Rob and Janet. Ken smells a rat when James tells him he's leaving because Tracy doesn't want him there. And when he does a little snooping, finds a letter to James approving a £50,000 loan against his house. James does a runner, hurting Gramps in the process, but there's worse for Ken. He has to tell the Websters. And Tracy steps up her campaign to win Steve's heart by getting him involved in Amy's sports day. And soon, Stella notices an undeniable spark between them. Finally, it's the Dales. Mia tries to scupper the fledgling relationship between Katie and her dad Declan by claiming he's about to reconcile with Ella. But when he hears about it, Declan assures Katie in front of Mia that he'd rather wax Rodney Blackstock's luxuriant chest than do that. Ella tries to warn off Katie, but she goes through with their dinner date. So desperate Ella tells Mia that Declan's been seeing Katie all along. Declan tells Mia her mother's lying, but she doesn't believe him and makes plans to disappear with Ella to Singapore, as you do. Marlon is upset when he learns Rona and Leo won't be back in the village for another week, but Paddy decides to go and see her after Pearl berates him. He manages to persuade her to return, and she reveals she's going back to work, with Paddy taking paternity leave and Marlon getting Leo one night a week. Families don't come any odder. And Layla really doesn't want Jacob going to Spain with Andy and Alicia, frightened he'll never return. But the lad tells Alicia he doesn't want to go, although Bob and Chaz tell Layla he'll love it once they get there. Layla's upset, but will she really call a solicitor to stop Alicia leaving with him?